Hi everyone. Today I thought I would play around with the Snow Crystal stamp set. This was from last year's holiday catalog and they've carried it over so it's still available. I'm not sure if it's in the online store and the catalog or just the online store, but it's called Snow Crystal. It's still available. It's one giant stamp. So it's really a great fun thing to use for all kinds of home decor type things. You could cut out a bunch of snowflakes, you could emboss them. This is a giant size, perfect for a scrapbook page. But I'm going to use it on cards and I'm going to just kind of play with it and see. My favorite way to use it is with a blending brush and emboss resist. So I'm going to do that, but then I'm also going to use it in a couple different ways too. And right now I'm going to start by just embossing a bunch of this stamp set, some in clear and some in white, and then I'm going to just play around with it and see what I can come up with. And I hope that you like the emboss resist technique, because that one is my favorite. And so I will show you that in a few colors. I'll do one in real time, and then as I emboss the rest and color them, I'll speed it up so that you can see the end result but not have to watch me you know, put the color on so many times. I cut 6 sheets of basic white, and I just cut the paper in quarters. So these are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them in the end. I might have to trim them down or play around with them, so I'm going to see what I think. And then I also cut a few pieces. I thought these would be fun together, real bright and not super Christmassy, but more winter. So I've got Tahitian Tide, Gorgeous Grape, and Parakeet Party. So these are the colors I'm going to use on my pieces. I also brought out the inks in those colors as well. What happened to the parakeet? I'll have to find the parakeet. And I'm going to use these with the blending brushes. Okay. Here is the ginormous stamp. Now I've got it on a big block, and a lot of people don't have this huge block because it's quite huge. It's actually also quite heavy. If you've got a stamp positioner like our old Stamparatus or something like that, that would work perfectly. But if you don't, you can also, sometimes I have seen, and I've actually done this myself, where I didn't have, I went somewhere and I forgot to bring my blocks. It was at a convention, and my table mate and I, Mindy, actually ended up using our cases as our blocks. We just used the stamp, and we put the stamp on the case and pressed it to our our paper. So you can find a way around not having the big block. The big block is nice because it does add some heft to it and some weight, but if you don't have it, that's okay. Versamark is our sticky inky substance. I don't know if it's technically an ink, but it's our sticky substance, and we're going to ink up that stamp set and then stamp it onto our cardstock and press. Okay, and I'm gonna do another one on a colored sheet of cardstock just so you can see the 2 different versions, and then I'll finish up the others on speed up motion, whatever is that called? Fast forward. Speed up motion. Okay, for one, I'm going to use clear embossing powder, and for the other, I'm going to use white. Now, you can do them both in white. For some reason, that clear intrigues me, and I like it. It's on white, though, so it ends up looking like it could be white or clear. But you do what you have. So this one is the white. And here is the clear. Now, I don't know how much you can see of the clear on the video, but that's why I wanted to do the white one as well. Once I start using the blending brush, that image is really going to pop out. So let's heat these up. Okay, I've got two done, a clear and a white. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of them, and I'll be right back. Okay, I now have 9 snowflakes to play with here, and I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet, except I know I'm going to add some color to these. So let's start with that idea. Okay, so I have a few colors that I chose. I have Parakeet Party, Gorgeous Grape, and Tahitian Tide. I'm going to start with the Tahitian Tide. Just, I don't know, blue snowflakes goes. So how you use these blending brushes is you want to pick up some ink in a circular motion, and then you want to apply this. Now, if you were to just kind of plop that down onto your cardstock, you might get kind of a hard, like a plunk. I can't really explain how it unless it happens. Let me see if I have. A scrap, but if I were to just kind of go right in, I don't have enough ink on there, I might get kind of a hard swoosh and then some soft behind, and we don't want that. So we want to start off the side and start going in our circle and then bring it over, and that way our color will go on smoothly without that like hard clunk at the beginning. Just going around and round, adding color. And where the areas are embossed, the color doesn't want to stick to that kind of glossy, plasticky type finish. So the ink is going to glide right over that. Now I will say some colors don't do that as well as other colors. So you want to test your colors. I haven't tested these yet. Well, I tested Tahitian Tide, but I haven't tested Gorgeous Grape. So I'm not positive that it's going to be one of those colors that works or not, and we'll have to see. Oop, I just kind of pressed really hard on an angle and I got that edge I was talking about. So, because I kind of went and dug down funny. So you can see it start to emerge, and I'm going to ink up my stamp pads a little dry, so I need to ink it up. Let me see if I can finish this one without it. Okay, you can keep going until it's all covered. I'm going to move on to another color. I'm going to try that Gorgeous Grape because I don't know what's going to happen with that one. That goes on nicely. Now you can see that the white is not as white, so let me show you that you can take a tissue and wipe after the fact and kind of get some more of that purple off of the plastic if you do it quickly. If you let it sit for a day, you're not gonna probably get it off. But again, some colors are going to show up better than other colors. This one seems like it wants to kind of stick to the emboss, so it kind of does need a little once over with the tissue. Okay, now let's try that parakeet, and then I'll work on getting them all finished, and when they are finished, oh, actually I wanted to show you another idea. Okay, so parakeet works nicely too. So now I kind of wanted to show an idea that I had in my head where I was going to block off areas with some post-it notes. So I've got an idea to go, I put this on an angle and I'm using this grid paper to make sure that I'm on an angle. And then I'm going to block off, and I tried this a little bit earlier, and the hardest part for me was getting these straight. I am going to find a longer Post-it note. Like I said, this is not a fully fleshed out idea. I played around with the idea using some masking paper, and I did not have a success with that. The masking paper stuck too well to the paper it's supposed to peel off, and unfortunately it did not. It tore my paper underneath. Now it could be that's because it was because I was doing a lot of rubbing on the paper with my blending brushes, so it could be that it was just too much, and so it just didn't like it. But my idea here is to stripe it with some alternating colors. I wanted to start with the Tahitian tie just because I think it might be my favorite. Okay, there's a fun little idea. And I'm going to finish up all the others, and then we'll cut them apart and make something. Well, I had a lot of fun playing with this snow crystal set. I embossed, like I showed you in the video. I embossed a whole bunch of them, and I used the blending brush to get some nice backgrounds, and now I want to show you what I made. And you know, I've been kind of playing with them most of the afternoon, and now it's kind of getting dark in my studio here, so hopefully it's not too dark because I really want to show you what I made. Okay, so again, we're using the snow crystal stamp. It's a large stamp, and so I started out by, and I'm going to show you what I made, and there's a couple that I'm going to then make again with you. So this one is the first one I did. I wanted to have a blue background, and this is Misty Moonlight, and I decided in the end that this was too light for me. I wanted a richer, deeper background. So that one is Misty Moonlight, and then I did it again in Night of Navy, and I really like this one. So I can show you that I embossed in clear, and then I used the blending brush in navy to go over it, and I did a second one because I want to show you how I got this splatter. So it's been embossed and brushed, but now I'm going to take an aqua painter. I'm going to just grab one off my desk. I had it a second ago. If I could show you this entire desk, you'd be amazed at just how much stuff is on my desk right now because I've just been using everything with this set. Is there water in that one? Yes. Okay. So I've got a little water painter. This is the older style. I just wanted to grab one that still had water in it. And I'm going to squeeze the brush. I'm not going to squeeze it over my project. I'm going to kind of come off to the side and squeeze, and the newer ones work the same way, and then the water kind of goes down into the barrel. So once it's down in the barrel, I'm going to take it and flick it on my project. And what's going to happen is it's going to kind of move that ink. It's going to cause the ink to go away from that water and make these really fun little pitted areas where the water kind of disperses like this. And it takes a few minutes before you fully see what's happening. You can kind of start to see it now, I think, but it's going to take a few minutes before it fully takes effect. And that's okay though, we can start working. And then I wanted some shimmer, so then I did again. Now this is the Winkastella, and this inside of it is not water, it's glitter with some kind of, I don't know what's in it, but it dries really fast, and probably some kind of alcohol type stuff. So it doesn't make the ink separate as much. So I like it for the shimmer, but it's not going to give the big gaps of ink like I got here. This looks like giant, you know how sometimes snow falls in big flakes, and that's kind of what I was looking for here. So this will start to show a little more as time goes on. And ooh, I got some big splatter there. You can make them as big or as little as you want. And that is how I did this one. And then as far as ribbon goes, isn't that beautiful? So I'm gonna just really quickly put this together while it's still drying. I made a base in Night of Navy, and I went ahead and just glued this down flat. Sometimes I like to add some dimension, but that bow is already gonna do that for us. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this down right on top of that Night of Navy. It's still drying, that's okay. And then I grabbed some ribbon. There's some beautiful ribbon, and I am going to use this one. It's kind of like a sheer ribbon with some silver edging. Actually, I want to show you another way to do it besides the bow. Sometimes I like to do a bow and then just stick it down, but I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to grab this tear tape and put some down. And then I like to just kind of sneak it back and forth. So I'm going to start with it going up, and then I'm going to come back down. And this lays really nice and flat, so you don't have that big bump like you do with a bow from the knot in the middle. So I just kind of sneaked it up and down, and I already made a greeting because I didn't want the video to be too long, and I'm going to just stick that right on top. And there you go. So that's the dark Night of Navy one. Now I did another Night of Navy one. This time I embossed in gold. And first I did my stamping and embossing in gold, and then I ran that piece through my embossing machine with a folder that kind of pressed that embossed into the paper, and it really does look like a gold leaf or a inlay almost. Really pretty in person, and I love this ribbon. This is a sheer navy with some gold sparkle in it, and that is a really fun ribbon. That card, I hope it shows up on video. I hope it's not too dark, because in person this one is really pretty. Okay, now you saw me in the fast forwarding doing this with the stripes of different color, and here's what I did there. That was fun. And then I did another one where I kind of used the embossing folder and I did like a tie-dye look, and I loved the saying, "Oh, what fun," because it's kind of funky tie-dye, non-traditional snowflake. All right, now there's a couple more. This is actually 3 different pieces, and then when I was done, I couldn't decide what to do with them, so I cut them apart. And I just want to quickly show you something to help line these up. So I've got this little piece of grid paper here, and when I was cutting them, I cut the first one, I think it was the green that I grabbed, and I just cut it kind of in thirds. Now when I cut the second one, I wanted to make sure that they're going to line up, so I actually held half of my, like a piece of my cut out, and I held it up against the second one that was a full sheet, just so I could line up that blade before I chomped it. That way I knew that they lined up. Now because I stamped them all separately, some of them are a little bit more off to the side than others. So how I put them together was I laid them down on some grid paper, and I just went and I laid the first one down, and then I found the second piece, and then the final piece. And then once I had them lined up and attached, now I trimmed it down to the size that I wanted and layered it on my card. Isn't that fun? I really enjoyed doing that one. And then the third one I did, now these were embossed in white on cardstock. So this is Tahitian tied cardstock. I didn't emboss this. I didn't blending brush it. Here are the little relics of that. Okay, so this one, I just took the whole image and I just used these stylish shapes and I cut the circles out. I used every size circle except for the very largest one. This is a really nice die if you don't have this one. It's called Stylish Shapes. And actually I had a few people looking for that Peekaboo Frames die from a while back that it was one die with 4 or 5, maybe 6 little circles on it. You could do that same thing with this die set. You can, let me see if I can, sometimes I wish I had something to show so that you know what I'm talking about. Here it is. So this was a frame from that Peekaboo die. This was all one die and you ran it through and then you could have little things peeking through. Now you can take this same idea with other circle dies that you own and just cut out various circles, and this way you can kind of put them exactly where you want them to. So that's kind of nice. And anyway, that's what I did, but I am not using the leftover part, the negative space. I was using the circles, and I just laid them down onto a card base. Let me show you that. So I have an extra layer piece here, and I just laid them down. Like this one has a little edge cut off, so that's perfect for right there. And you can just kind of play around with where you want them. And they don't have to be perfectly in line with the actual snowflake. And then I'm just going to attach that to a cardstock base. Oh, I need to trim the top. And attach a greeting. That's really fun. So that is how I played around with my snowflake snow crystal stamp set. I hope that you find it really fun. I hope that you will give it a try if you have this one already. Now think of other things you can do these techniques with if you have some other snowflake sets. They're really fun. Oh, what fun. I did have a great time playing around with these, and you can go from fun to elegant and everything in between. And I think this is really a great one to, I can imagine a scrapbook page with this giant snow crystal, maybe something like this, with kids playing in the snow. That'll be really fun. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and take out those blending brushes and have some fun with your embossing and your colors. If you have anything that you want to share similar to this, show us what you did. I have a Facebook group called Beth's Paper Cuts Idea Sharing Group on Facebook, and you can share things that you have made with the snow crystal stamp set if you have it. Thanks for watching. Bye.